Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode Hit. Blake, you are a part of episode 50 of the Take One podcast. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here. It's been since right before Christmas, but I hope everybody has had a great holiday season. But yeah, Blake, dude, this is episode 50. And I was like, I wonder what the topic would be for episode 50, because I feel like it's a little iconic in its own way. And I was like, what better way to kick it off than the top 10 movies of 2023? And I know a lot of people have done their list already, and podcasts have dropped in the past like 2 weeks. But I was like, there's a couple movies I know we talked about before we got on here, but for me that I haven't seen yet. So I had to catch up, and I wanted to give other people a chance to catch up. But you were on top of your game this year, man.
This year I was on top of my game. First of all, thank you for having me back. Only feels right that we're doing the top 10 movies of 2023 as we did our top 10 of 2022, which was a great episode.
It was the most listened to episode last year for the Take One podcast.
I like that. Let's do it again for 2023 movies. But yeah, I was staying on top of my game this year. Didn't have to catch up as much. There is still a few movies that I do have to watch of 2023. Just haven't been able to either find them on a streaming service or, missed it when they were released in theaters. But for the most part, yeah, I feel pretty good about my list. And I haven't officially put out my top 10 yet. So this will be the first time people will be hearing my top 10 list.
Thank you for waiting, because I feel like it's got to be. I don't know if you were specifically waiting for the pod, but if you were, I appreciate it, because I know it's hard to wait. I know you wanted to get that out, so I appreciate you waiting. But there's a couple movies too that I hadn't seen that I have seen people give pretty good reviews for. And I'm like, man, there was one specific movie that was not playing in my area, and I was very bummed about it. And then I'm sure we'll talk about it. Later
I
on,
feel like that's been the case for some movies. Like I know Poor Things isn't even going to release in the UK until February, so they haven't even been able to see that.
That was the one I was talking about, Poor Things, man. I because I saw the great reviews for it, and like I know Emma Stone killed it, and I was like, it was killing me that I have not seen that movie yet, and it hurts because I have a feeling it would have been in my top 10.
Right, and it's funny you say that because for like the first week it was out in America, I couldn't find it at any Regal near me. I'm like, is Regal just not gonna play it? Like it was playing at some of the AMCs, but the closest AMC to me is like 30 minutes. But then it was, finally put into the Regal theaters. I was like, thank God.
Yeah, it was the same way for me because I have a Regal pass.
Yes, same.
Yeah, I was like, I go to the movies way too much. It makes sense just to get the pass.
I went to the movies this morning actually to crank out one more to see if it would crack my top 10.
Did it crack? You don't have to say that.
It did not. I won't say it, but it didn't crack.
Okay, well, save that for the end. We'll talk about that. All right. Do you feel like it's in a lot of people's top 10s?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, before we dive into it, dude, what's been up? I see the new studio set up behind you.
Yeah.
You're getting bigger and bigger on TikTok and all the social platforms, man. And I love the new setup, not only in your TikToks, but just we kind of get a behind the scenes look right now of what the lighting looks like and how the room is set up. It looks great, dude.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, moved into a new place, so I was able to dedicate a full room to a studio instead of the tiny corner that y'all saw in the last studio. But it feels good. Took a few weeks to put it together, but I'm very happy with it. Me and Garrett are very happy with it. It feels good to be sitting down. Now we can sit down while we record. As our last studio, we would be standing the whole time, which was insane.
Were you standing doing the podcast too?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. We were standing the whole time.
I know some of your podcasts were like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, but there was a couple that reached over that 1 hour mark. And I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes me and Garrett would be in there recording for like 2 hours. One time I was standing for like 3 hours, and man, our knees were hurting.
Well, I love the new space. Like I said before, are those VHSs behind you? Is that what is on
They
that rack?
are fun. I'm glad you mentioned that because I feel like those are gems that no one really talks about anymore. But the what is it? Let's see. The top row, top row right here. These are my girlfriends. They're mainly Disney movies, and then the bottom row is ones that I brought home or to Orlando from my childhood home because we just had so many VHSs back home, and I was like, that would
Did
look
you?
great in the studio.
Dude, I am obsessed with collecting VHSs. Like
Okay.
it's been my new thing. Like I'm not these are sitting right next to me. These are what I got for Christmas. I don't know if you can see them.
Yes.
Now the two
Yes.
Terrifier movies are like I don't know if you follow people like on Instagram, but like they do their own like covers now and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I was like, dude, are the VHSs real? And I popped one in because my wonderful fiance, she got me a throwback VH, a TV with the VHS player
Yes.
into
And
it. I was like,
also
oh man,
congrats on that, my friend.
thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
that
That's
very much.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
very big.
do you follow oh man, I'm trying to see. I followed them kind of recently. Let me see. Because they it's like a Instagram page that's kind of dedicated to a whole bunch of vintage collections. Oh, they're called Vintage Video Basement on Instagram.
I might, ever since I've made my like personal horror page, like
Yeah.
I just went on a following binge and I follow like so many collectors and VHS tapes, like
Yeah,
places. And
you've probably seen them before. Give it a look because they do a lot of, horror vintage stuff, and the setup is just like so clean, and like, the VHSs like all different types of old uh media platforms. Like it's insane.
that's so sick, dude. But I noticed the VHS is behind you because I could tell the top row. Like any 90s, 80s kid, you're gonna notice the
Mhm.
packaging for the old Disney VHS tapes. So I saw that in the background. I was like, man, that is sick. And I know you've had it for a while. I believe you have that lit poster over your right shoulder. That is
This
sick.
one?
Yeah. Both
Yeah,
of them.
so
Well, you got two. I see two.
okay, I don't know if you can kind of tell, maybe a little blurry, but this right here is a light up ghost face that my girlfriend got me for my birthday this past year.
Sick.
Um yeah, and then I got Oppenheimer in this poster right now. And then yeah, this is the one that's behind Garrett when we record, and I got Across the Spider-Verse in there. Um
Some little
Jurassic
teasers. Little teasers.
yeah, Jurassic Park backpack. This is a new edition. Back to the Future Loungefly backpack. Still waiting to get the Jaws one. That's my next one.
Nice, man. That's super nice. My sister bought this for me. I try to light it. It's a neon light she got off of Etsy. It's like an old VHS cassette tape, but it's from
Yeah,
Back to the Future. It's so sick. But
that is
I
sick.
I should have lit it just to have the lights in the background, but you can't tell what it says on
Right.
camera. So
Speaking of
but
Back to the Future, they actually just announced this morning that that cast is going to be at MegaCon.
I am super jealous, like
Yeah.
super jealous. I don't know if you can tell, but I went to GalaxyCon in Raleigh, North Carolina. Me and my fiance did last year,
Hmm.
and we stood in line for a long time to get Christopher Lloyd's autograph. I don't know if you
Uh-huh.
can see the signature, but dude,
Yeah, I can a little bit.
one of the best moments of my entire life. Like
How was he?
so cool. It was so cool. It was like such a he was great, but the whole experience was a little frustrating
Yeah.
because the doors opened at 10:30, I believe. We rushed down there. We were like sixth in line. We were like, oh, this is great. And they're supposed to be at their table within 30 minutes of the door opening. So like, oh man, this is great. We're gonna be able to hit him and enjoy the con. And then we waited till about 11. So about 45 minutes after we've been waiting, somebody comes up and says that his plane flew in late last night and his wife is making him sleep in. And I
Ooh.
was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So my girlfriend or my fiance, she was like, all right, we'll walk around, see other things. And
Yeah.
obviously she wanted to go see Nick Carter. So we stood in line and met Nick Carter. Cool dude, by the way. But obviously I was there for Christopher Lloyd.
Uh-huh.
That's why we went. And it was like, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock, he finally shows up. And we are about 15th in line. So they have two separate lines, a VIP line and a regular general admission line. We're 15th in line, which is great. But the way they have it set up is they're letting 5 VIP to 1 general admission person. So I was like, oh my God, this sucks. And we were on a time crunch because we had to catch a flight later that night back home.
Oh, damn.
And what sucked about it is we were like 5 people away. And then he was about to leave because it was 10 minutes until he had to go and do a photo op. And I was like,
Yeah,
you got to be shitting me.
yeah.
But things worked out. We were able to meet him. And I believe 4 to 5 people after us is when he got up and left. I was
damn.
like, oh,
wow,
yeah.
You just squeezed in. That's good, though.
Yeah. So it's that was just a moment. And congrats, man. You're going to MegaCon. You just told me that. That's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've been the past 2 years, but we've only done the 1-day pass, and we usually go Saturday. And I mean, I feel like each year just keeps getting crazier and busier. So this year we're like, all right, let's do it right. We got a 4-day pass, so we're gonna go all 4 days. But yeah, excited to see fans there. Excited to see all the celebrities. It seems like they keep announcing more and more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got.
Who are you most excited to meet, though? That's the question.
Well, Garrett met Anakin Skywalker last year, so he's got that under his belt. Now, what's crazy though too is Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan's going to be there this year, and they are going to do like a double feature photo op, so that would be pretty cool. Tom Hiddleston there. Also, honestly, one person that me and Garrett were really excited to meet, and also is a lot cheaper, was Keith David.
Nice.
Love the thing, love his voice acting. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a good one, dude.
Yeah, that would be sick. And his photo op is only like $60.
I don't think that I have had you because I've only had you on the pod twice for the Scream review, Scream 6 review, and for the top movies of 2022. So I asked you personally, but I want you to talk about it on the podcast. How was meeting Neve Campbell last year?
I mean, it kind of is just like a blur because it happened so fast. Which is understandable. Like, I mean, it was great. I'm just glad that I have that picture with the Screaming Queen herself.
Yes.
But what kind of sucked was like our call time was later in the day. Not to mention, right before that, they were still doing the group photo ops of like all the cast. So her, Skeet, Matthew Lillard, Henry Winkler. And I think one more person was there too.
Henry was there.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Oh, and Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
So they were still doing that right before ours. So once we got up, it just kind of was happening so fast because like the doors were MegaCon was gonna be over soon. Like it was, MegaCon's over at like 7:00, and I feel like I got my picture with her at like 6:30.
Oh damn.
So yeah, so they were kind of having to, crank us out, but it was still great to have that picture. I actually have it. It's on the floor. I haven't found a space to hang it up, but it's back there.
Man, I have to meet her again because I'm sure you've heard the story, but like
you had to have been shaking, right?
I was shaking. I stuttered over my words. I absolutely hate the picture that I have with her. And it's like I have to redo it. Like I didn't shave the night before because I had planned on like meeting her. Like I just my facial hair is all over. I just look like a bum.
Yep.
All right. And I just made myself look like an idiot. It's a moment that I'll never forget for all the right and wrong reasons. And my friend Kevin, he went and met some of the Scream cast, and he met her again because he had a bad experience.
Right.
And I am jealous of his picture. Did you see his picture? I know you follow him. Did you see his picture with him?
I don't think so.
I'm about to share it. And I'm like, dude, no way. He sent me this when I was driving. I pulled over and I was like, you son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I was like, oh, dude, what did you do to like, how much you pay her to do that?
Yeah.
And he was like, she's super nice, obviously. He just asked, and she was like, absolutely. And dang. I was like, I would love for Neve Campbell to hug me.
Yeah. No, and I feel like sometimes too, that's why it may be sometimes nicer meeting like the, less popular people at MegaCon or those kind of events because you can kind of just sit there and talk to them for a little bit. Like, I I was waiting in line for Nev Campbell when my girlfriend and 3 other of my friends that were there that day went over to meet what's his name? It's Neville Longbottom
Oh, okay.
from Harry Potter.
I know
What's his
exactly who
name?
you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about. I'm forgetting his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Matthew something. Yeah, also with a L, I believe. Anyways, but they, he wasn't really that busy. So like they were able to chat with him for like 10, 15 minutes. So I feel like sometimes it's kind of nicer meeting, the less popular people at those events.
Oh, 100%. I went to here in Richmond. We had a convention called Nightmare Weekend not too long
Mhm.
ago. And one of my fiance's favorite movies is Hocus Pocus, and the whole cast was there except for the 3 witches, but
Okay.
all three kids were there. And we went for that. And then what I was excited about was Tim Reed from Stephen King's It was there.
Uh-huh.
And I got to meet him, and I felt so bad because there weren't a lot of people in his line, but I
Yeah.
loved it because he actually signed my It poster,
Uh-huh.
and I just got to talk to him because
Yeah.
nobody was there, and it was like the coolest experience ever. But so I totally agree with you. Those people that aren't as popular, like
Mhm.
for the most part, they're all nice. There
Yeah.
are people who have had bad experiences, but like they'll sit there and talk with you, and it's just like the coolest thing ever because
Yeah.
like they don't know it, but like you're making their day, if not year. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely. One honestly popular person that is I've always heard is just fantastic at those events is Giancarlo Esposito. He's always at those type
Yeah.
of events. But yeah, he what was it? No, when my friends were meeting Neville Longbottom and my friends were like, "Oh man, you must be, tired from doing this all day." And he was like, "Are you kidding me? Like you guys must be tired, walking around waiting for me. Like I'm just
That's
here to,
awesome.
talk to you guys." And he's like, "My part is easy."
Yeah. Um, Last point on this on like meeting your heroes. Everybody says like never to meet your heroes, and
Yeah.
I've had very good experiences. I've met an athlete before, and he was rude to me, but outside of that, I've had great experiences. But Kevin, the same convention he went to meet Nev, he had very bad experiences with Matthew Lillard and
Really.
Jamie Kennedy. And it like really put a sour taste in his mouth because all
Uh-huh.
you hear about, I can kind of see that from Jamie, maybe, but
Jamie, yeah, I can see that.
Matthew Lillard, like everybody always talks about like how nice he is and all this
Yeah.
and that. But Jamie, like Kevin wanted him to sign a poster and write a quote, and like he was just not with it. Like it was just such a bad experience. And
Hmm.
he was like, that crushes my soul because Scream is his favorite movie. And it's
Right.
just like, oh man.
Yeah, it's tough. You do get nervous to meet your heroes. Like I don't that's why I really don't have any like aspirations to ever, kind of meet my heroes, but if the paths were to cross one day, like that's fine with me, but I feel like I'm never going to go out of my way to do that cuz like you never know if you're going to catch them on a bad day either, which is another thing.
That too, like they could have just been having a bad day. You
Right.
just never know. You
You
know what I
never
mean?
know.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Are you ready for the list? That's the big question. Are you ready for this list? Now,
I
I know
think so.
was the list itself easy for you as far as placement?
Um Honestly, just writing down my 10 was easy, but figuring out the placement kind of got hard from like 6 to 10. But for the most part, I feel pretty confident. I feel more confident than I did last year with my list.
Do you know how many movies you saw this year, new movie wise?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I got my
I
letterbox right here.
I was about to say
Shout out letterbox.
that's the only reason I know because
Yeah.
I did it last year. I didn't do it the year before, but I
Uh-huh.
tracked at least every new release movie I watched
Hmm.
so I could keep
Yeah.
track
Shout out
of it.
letterbox.
Yeah. That's like it's a lifesaver, dude.
It is. It is. Honestly, it's a great social app too. Like it's just a great time.
It is. And look at you going what full Patreon on Letterbox. I peeped that. I saw that.
Honestly, the biggest thing was the ads, man. I was getting sick of the ads, and
They
man, once you
suck.
log in, yeah, they do. They do. Once
I,
you
I
log in with those no ads, it's a breeze.
I remember going to your Letterbox and I was like, man, he has a header. what the hell
Yeah.
is this? And I saw that you were like a
Yes.
Patreon member or something like that. I was like, man. And I loved what you did with the Christmas theme with the
Uh-huh.
Grinch Cheddar, and you had
Yeah.
Black Christmas and all the Christmas movies there. That was sick. That was sick.
Yeah. It was like $48 a month. I was like, I'll justify it. I'm always using it.
I
Plus, you
think
get
it's
to
a
like,
year. I think it's $48 a year,
or
right?
yeah, what did I say? What did I say? A month?
$48 a month. I was about
Oh
to say,
no,
damn,
no, no,
Blake is
no, 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 no.
balling.
Whew, no. Oh yeah. $48 a year. I was like, that's justifiable. Plus you get to pick any kind of poster that you want for like the review. And honestly, Letterbox has some sick
Sick
posters.
posters. Hell yeah, they
Yeah.
do. I might have to do that this year. I might feel bougie and purchase that this year.
Honestly, it's worth it. It's worth it, especially if you're on Letterbox like every day.
One thing I forgot to bring up is we are enemies this week in the NFL. You know that, right?
Wait, what was the week?
This week we are. You're a
Yeah.
Tampa fan, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. We're going head to head.
we are. And I have about 2% of confidence in my team.
Yeah,
Like
no.
you should be going into this game very confident. I saw that Baker
Oh.
didn't practice today, but if he plays, you should be in good shape.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was just happy that we, made the playoffs first year not having Brady, and Baker's done more than we've asked for. Yeah, Eagles have been struggling.
It's like
Ooh,
and context is everything, because at the end of the day, if you just step back and look at an 11-6 record, you'll be like, not bad. I
right.
like coming off of a Super Bowl, people leave, coordinators, players,
Mhm.
not bad. I would take that. But
Yeah.
when you dig into the context and you saw that they started 10-1 and they
Yeah.
lost like 4 of their last 5, like it's just
Mhm.
not pretty,
Mhm.
man. Not
Because
pretty.
not to mention, even though that was a 10-1 record at the time, the defense was
So
still
close.
shaky. Yeah.
They were, and it's like I didn't know what to make of the team, because you went into overtime against Washington, you lost to the Jets without Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
but you turn around and beat the Bills, the Dolphins, the
Yeah,
Cowboys. Like, what are you?
I know.
Like, what are you?
Did you hear that the Kansas City game is apparently going to be like a wind
Yes,
chill of -30?
yes. Miami might as well go on and pack that
Oh.
in the bag.
Oh, once I saw that Miami, A, was not going to be playing at home, and B, was traveling to that environment, I was like, it's done. Look, I'm a Bucks fan, but it's also nice seeing Florida teams do well, and like every damn year, man, they
Yeah, it's like I
wet
don't
the
know.
bed.
I don't know what's up with them, man. But yeah, should be a good playoff. I'm excited for my team. Obviously, I just don't have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
I'm really going into this weekend excited about the Rams and Lions game.
Yeah.
Stafford coming back to town.
Mhm.
I would love. I can't wait to see what CJ Stroud does this weekend.
A lot of
he
good
put that-
stories.
yeah, he's put that team on his back. Great stories in the NFL. But I
Yeah.
had to bring that up before we went any further. because
Yeah.
I was like, yep,
Yep.
it's this
Yeah.
weekend.
We'll be hearing from each other this weekend.
Yeah, although I will say I am not a trash talker. Like I just believe in bad karma, and I'm just like I'm just gonna keep it pushing. Like I'm just
Yeah. No, the
Mhm.
reason why I don't trash talk, especially before game happens, is because I feel like it's just gonna always bite me in the ass. Like that's just gonna be
Yes,
my
that
luck.
too.
That's why fantasy football, announcement. I did finally win the championship for my big league.
Me too, dude.
Yeah.
Me too.
Let's
Yes.
go. Who was your
Yes.
star players?
I'm gonna pull it up now because I was in a couple. I won 2, but one was not a
Okay.
big league
I
at
came
all.
in I came in second in one, and then I came in first in my big league, which I've been in that one for like 7 years now. But Brees Hall saved me. Ooh. So I had Brees Hall,
Brees Hall.
Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill, even though he didn't, do all that great towards the playoffs. But David Njoku was my tight end too.
Woo!
Oh, it was a good year. It was a good year.
I will concede. I don't know how I won my league because my players are not that good. But I had Lamar Jackson,
Okay.
T Higgins, Mike
Okay.
Evans, Josh Jacobs, and Travis Kelce. Like I'm trying to, but I was playing like this guy, like, I don't know if he was paying attention, whoever made it to the championship,
Right.
but I dominated him in the last game. So
Well, T. Higgins started pulling through towards the end
he
because
did.
Jamar Chase was hurt, and then Mike Evans was definitely a very slept-on receiver this year. Like, I think he
Like
went
every year,
pretty late. Yeah, he usually goes
I just
pretty late every year.
I don't get it. You're guaranteed 1,000 yards.
Right, and not to mention, yeah, maybe there's those games where he gets 2 receptions, but those 2 receptions will be a touchdown.
Touchdowns. Yeah, that too. So, yeah, good call out because I did win my fantasy league for
Hell
like
yeah.
once. So,
I know.
congratulations, man.
Thank you, you too. It feels good, man, especially when you've been in a league for so long, you're like, "Oh." But that's why I never talk trash, especially, like, with fantasy football matchups, 'cause I'm like, the fantasy gods aren't just gonna have me win if I talk shit.
Yeah, and you definitely need luck in fantasy, like
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
injuries and everything.
because that one week that I had Breece Hall where he got 43 points, I needed that because my opponent had Amari Cooper when he scored 52 that week.
Woo! Wow,
So I needed that.
man, Browns.
Yo,
I would love to see them do something crazy.
I
But
would
it's like
too.
I would love for Lamar to do some good. Like, I don't know, a lot of great headlines, like you said. But
Yeah, they really are.
all right, man, let's go ahead and jump into this. Our top 10 movies of 2023. Just warning everybody, I'll probably won't go deep into spoilers, but I might tip some things off. Blake, you're more than welcome to. So just fair warning now, there will be spoilers going forward into the list. So if you don't want to be spoiled for any movies that you haven't seen, watch it, come back and take a listen. But Blake, what is number 10 on your list for top 10 movies of 2023?
All right, my number 10. So question first. Are we counting documentaries?
Do whatever you want to do. This is open, so
Okay.
whatever you want to do.
So here's my number 10. I only asked that because it would only be one documentary. Because if so, my number 10 would be still the Michael J. Fox documentary that did come out that past year. And it was just, I don't
Yep.
know, it was, I hadn't really watched too much on Michael J. Fox. We all know him as Marty McFly, but I never had really, dived deep into, his story before. So, and just the way they did the documentary and the effects with like, you know, showing his past and everything and how it looked so real. It was just beautiful. Um, but if we want to do like, I guess, a movie, I would also go May December, Netflix movie with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, Charles Melton, which people know from Riverdale. He gave an amazing performance. And what I liked about that movie as well was even though it's a very like it's not really an intense story, but with how they did the camera work and the performances and like a lot of the times the actors were up close and personal, it gave off a lot of tension, which kind of made for a very not exciting story, give you a little more upbeat tempo in the movie.
What's it about? Because I've not seen it.
So I don't know if you've
And
seen this.
I also love these lists because, like, any top movie list of any kind, like, I always find a movie that I have not seen yet.
Yeah.
So I can already kick it off with this one.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this video going around Twitter or anything, but apparently it's about a story, loosely about a story of this woman was in her 30s, a 30-year-old woman who had an affair with a 7th grader at the time, and they got married and everything and like were together for over 20, 30 years and had kids and everything. Like really weird, bizarre. But yeah, Netflix decided to,
Interesting.
make a movie off of that. And so basically, Natalie Portman's character went to this town where they lived in Savannah, which is kind of cool seeing like parts of Savannah because I've been there. Great city. And so Natalie Portman plays an actor who was going there to prepare for her role to play the woman who had the affair with the 7th grader.
Mhm.
And at this time, they have a family and everything. And so she's just like hanging around the house, getting to know the husband and wife. And I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting.
I had to check that out. That sounds very interesting, and it made your top 10. So,
Yeah.
real quick, how do you feel before we dive deeper into this list? How do you feel 2023 was overall for movies?
It's funny you asked that. Me and Garrett were just talking about that last night. Because 2022 was a great year. It really
It was
was.
a phenomenal year,
It
and
was.
me personally, I don't think 2023 topped it. Although, when I look at like my top 4, maybe 5,
Yeah.
when I put that up to
Uh-huh.
last year, I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I
So
mean?
it came very close to me, but I think 2023 is going to do it for me. Now, if you were to say what was a better year for horror, I'm going to go 2022 all the way
By far, yeah.
by far. I mean, X, Pearl, Jesus, oh my. It was just a great year for horror. Uh, but when I look at some of these movies in 2023, I'm just like, oh man, I think more from 2023 has had a little bit of a bigger impact for me.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Coming in at number 10 for me is going to be Creed 3.
Mm,
Um I saw also real quick, I saw 25 new releases this year.
okay.
So coming in at number 10 for me is Creed 3. And honestly, I thought this movie would be a little higher for me. I think one of the things that I was most interested in was Michael B. Jordan's how he would do as a director. First
Yeah.
time being a director. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I thought the fight sequences were great. Um, I've rewatched this movie since seeing it in IMAX, and I think it fell down a little bit for me.
Right.
Some of the fight scenes towards the end I thought were phenomenal in IMAX and were cool to see for the first time, but all that slow motion and it was just too much, I think, for me as far as the second rewatch. But some of the things that really stick out to me was just all three of these movies was the storytelling. I thought the um relationship between Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson was absolutely phenomenal, as it is always. I think their argument scene down in their basement was like top notch. Like I was on the edge of my seat, like as far as like tension between those two. It
Hmm.
was so raw, it felt so real. What families kind of go through that, it was kind of a real life situation. And I hate saying this, but I've learned to kind of separate the person from their acting.
Right.
Because, for example, Kevin Bacon, he's a great actor, but a shitty human being. I mean, let's be honest. You know what I
To be
mean?
honest, I don't know much about Kevin Bacon.
You don't want to. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, you don't want to. But
I'm gonna look into that now.
Jonathan Majors,
No,
he
he's
was
a great
phenomenal
actor.
in this.
He is a great
Yeah,
actor.
yeah. He was phenomenal in this movie. And somebody that I thought really pushed Michael B. Jordan to the max, to the
Yeah.
edge. And overall, I thought it was phenomenal. Like I said, it did fall off for me a little bit during the second rewatch because of some of those scenes, and then also obviously the departure of Sylvester Stallone. I mean, that's hard
Right.
to replace, hard to do a movie without him. But I thought for the circumstances of him not being in the movie, Michael B. Jordan's first director role, I just thought he did a good job, and this movie landed at number 10 for me.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally know what you mean by the IMAX thing, because man, we get spoiled seeing a movie in IMAX, and
Boy,
then
do we.
you watch it at home, and it does not hit the same. It's like, damn, I wish I could watch every movie in IMAX.
100%. Totally different.
Yeah.
All right, man. Number 9.
Number nine. All right. Number 9, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So final piece of this Guardians trilogy. It all boils down to like just this cast that just had such great chemistry with each other. James Gunn, who's going to be taking over DC. We'll see how that goes. That universe should be it's an interesting universe. But I love how he fleshes out his characters with his superhero projects, because that can be one thing about those superhero movies is they don't really really focus on the characters themselves and kind of focus too much on setting up the future in their universe. But as we've seen, what he's done with even with Peacemaker, and John Cena, like he just really knows how to make his characters the focal point of the movie, those relationships. Bradley Cooper's best performance of this year. Not Maestro. Maybe talk about that a little later. But overall, I think, you just love these Guardians of the Galaxy movies because of the characters, the cast, and not to mention they always have great music. So this was definitely one of the more emotional and darker movies of the MCU for sure. And yeah, no, I couldn't leave it off the list.
No, I get it. I totally get it. I'm not as big as in the MCU as a lot of people are. Like I'm way behind.
And it's understandable, especially these days. It's definitely, it's harder to be in love with that universe the longer it goes on. It's just kind of like, you get something so much and it just gets watered down.
Yeah, I mean, last year I thought they put out a couple good quality movies that I really enjoyed. But yeah, I got to catch up before I can, watch that. So I got a little bit to go. Number 9 for me is going to be a movie that kind of flew under my radar. I forgot what movie I went to go see, and I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, that's a stat cast, but I don't think that's gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy it that much. It's actually Air coming in at number 9 for me. And I talk about a stat cast with Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman. I'm a huge Jason Bateman fan in general, but Chris Tucker, Viola Davis is Michael Jordan's mom. I just thought the storytelling was really great. And for a movie that is based off of a shoe based around Michael Jordan, for the focal point not to be 1000% on Michael Jordan, and you learn the business aspect of Nike and what everybody went through, and this kid Michael Jordan, like we're gonna base a shoe off of him. Like is that what we're doing? And then yeah, man, I mean the movie kind of explains itself if you haven't seen it. I just thought that the dialogue in it was phenomenal. Nothing felt fake. It was like a true I just thought it was super neat I mean, I'm sure they left some things out, but like obviously, like just seeing what kind of that time was like and what Nike went through was super cool to see.
Yes, no, I'm glad that you chose that one. That one was just outside, like that's at number 11 for me, but maybe upon a rewatch, it could slide up to number 10. Like you said, the cast was great. Chris Tucker was great in it.
Yes.
And yeah, the chemistry was just there on screen with everyone, and it was nice. Yeah, for everybody. And it was like, okay, how are you gonna make a movie about this Michael Jordan shoe, without Michael Jordan? But they did a great job. Like, I'm glad, that wasn't the focal point, because that's a time and a place for another thing. For like, that was the last dance. That was the time to focus on Michael Jordan himself.
And it's an easy sell. They could have easily included Michael Jordan in that if they wanted to, just to kind of make a quick buck, but to draw people in, and to make a great movie. I just thought it was a good movie that I really enjoyed. So
yeah, no, it was just very. You left the theater with a smile on your face with that movie.
100%,
especially if you're a sports fan.
Totally agree.
All right, number 8. I have Poor Things. Now, I know you haven't been able to get around to that yet.
No.
I know. They're messing up with these theater releases. But, man, to be honest, I can't even explain this movie. Like, it is just the weirdest and quirkiest movie, like, in every way possible. But it works. Emma Stone, amazing. She could be very well on her way to grabbing her second Oscar. It's going to be a close race between her and Lily Gladstone. I'm glad both of them were able to win awards at the Golden Globes. Willem Dafoe, I mean, have we taken a look at his catalog the last like decade? Oh my God.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. And I heard that he is phenomenal in this movie, but expect nothing less.
Right. And he's going to be in Nosferatu coming out. I mean, like, Jesus, this guy is in so many great movies. Mark Ruffalo was a pleasant surprise because like I've never been like a huge Mark Ruffalo fan. I like him, you know. He was Bruce Banner, Hulk. He's obviously got some great movies under his belt, like you know, Shutter Island, Zodiac, Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind. But I've never been like, you know, the biggest fan of Mark Ruffalo. But I enjoyed him a lot. I thought he added a great comedic tone to the movie. I mean, you know, set design, unreal. I know
I
a lot
can
of
just
people,
tell by the trailer.
right? Yeah, no, you can just tell. Because I know Barbie is probably the front runner for set design when it comes to winning that award, but I don't know. Poor Things is gonna give it a run for its money, and also the music was. I can't even explain it again, but
Dude,
it's
I have
just
to see this. I
it
have to
works.
see
Like
this movie.
you'll know what I mean when you see it. When I just say like I don't know how to explain it, man, but it's really good.
I'm glad you were able to see it, and I'm super jealous, but I cannot wait to get out and see that movie. I think that is the number one movie that I hadn't seen last year that I need to
Okay.
see, like
Yeah.
easily. So, good pick, dude, and I can't wait. I can see the joy of that movie on your face, so I'm
Yeah,
excited.
it's an adventure, but it's a fun ride.
All right, so number 8. So this is probably going to shock you because I don't know how much you remember of it, of
Okay.
our conversation, but I'm going to go Scream 6. For
Okay.
several reasons. I
Okay.
know you're not the biggest fan of it. I went
Here's the
actually went back and looked at your letterbox score because I was like, how does he
Did
feel
you?
about it again? Yeah, because I don't like to go back and listen to the podcast because I don't like listening to myself. So I was like, I'm just gonna go look at his letterbox score. And it's not like you trashed it. I mean,
No, what I think I moved it up to like 3.5 maybe,
I think it's
right?
at 3, but let's be honest, 3 out of 5 is over average. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
no, it's not like I said it was a terrible movie because I really did enjoy a lot of it. It's just the ending.
The
I'm kind
ending.
of hung up on the ending.
Yeah, and I rewatched it myself as well, and I do have problems with the ending that I did
Hmm.
that I don't want to say I ignored when I first saw it,
Yeah,
but as you know, I wasn't a big fan of Scream 5 personally.
right.
Um,
Yes.
so when I went and saw 6, my expectations were a little lower.
Hmm.
But I just thought that Ghostface in general was a lot more angrier. He was more savage. The kills
Hmm.
were great, but it takes you to that end again. The reveal was kind of corny.
Yeah.
I do like the multiple ghost faces on screen at the same time. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
sick. But once you see them like kind of take off their mask and you see the motive behind it, like
Right.
I didn't like that at all. And then you think about some of the scenes that I really loved, like um the oh the store scene.
Oh yeah,
Where
and the bodega.
yeah, and I was looking for that word,
Yeah.
bodega. Yeah, that was like I still get goosebumps. I love that scene so much. I love the quietness in the store when he's stepping around with the gun on, and you hear the
Hmm.
glass. Like I love that scene so much. I love the Gail scene in her apartment, although I thought she should have died. My personal opinion. Like I love that, and then you look at the reveals, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm
Right.
just not buying. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not buying that.
No, it did a lot of great things. Like you said, you probably went into it with expectations lower because of Scream 5. So I would say for the most part, it did surpass people's expectations. Brought people to the theaters. You know, that was the highest grossing
It did.
Scream since the
Yeah,
first one. So
it
I
did.
was very happy to see people so excited to go see Scream and it earn its money that deserves. And I thought it did a great job with building that core four. Um, and
They did a great job because I'm
yeah,
not. I swear I'm not trying to bash the fifth one. Like I promise you I'm not. But like I just didn't like them that much. And in this movie, it was just totally different for me. Like everything just all
yeah.
that just worked for me, and everything just like I said was the problems that I have are towards the end.
Mhm,
I still gave this movie 4 stars, which is great in my opinion.
mhm.
On another rewatch, it might drop down to 3.5. I will say something that will make you happy.
What's that?
When we did our rankings, I put this above Scream 3. It has now fallen back behind Scream 3. So,
Oh,
I mean, I just I gotta do better with not letting my emotions as soon as I get out of the theater.
It's tough, man.
Come at
It's
me.
tough because as soon as I leave the theaters, I go straight to Letterbox. So sometimes I sleep on it. Because
Which is very smart to do because there's almost every new movie that I saw, I'm the last one in the theater because I'm in my seat writing my Letterbox review.
right. Now I know you were my Scream 3 guy, man.
I'm
My
back though.
defender.
I'm
All
back.
right, you're back. You're
I'm
back.
back.
Good.
I'm back.
Funny enough, you remember when I think I had you on for my Scream marathon and we were talking about Scream 5 and it was that clip from when we were talking about what's her name? Amber, Mikey Madison, how she
Oh yeah.
died. So I was just like going through my profile the other week, just scrolling down, trying to find one video, and I came past that video, and like at the time when I posted it, and it didn't really, it had like maybe 15,000 views, 20,000 views. And I was scrolling down. It was at like 228,000 views of us
Is
talking
it
about,
really?
Mikey Madison, burning every
Yeah.
time she's in a movie. I just thought it was a great video.
Dude, that was a phenomenal video. But yeah, number 8 for me is Scream 6. It still works for me. Yeah, good movie. So
All right. I like it. I mean, got to give all the love to Scream. I thought, Melissa Barrera did a great job, filling in those shoes as the
she
final
did.
girl. Because
Like
I thought when
I thought
Scream
she did.
5 came out, she was getting a little bit too much shit. But I'm like, look, man, those are some big shoes to fill. And I think she's doing great.
They are big shoes to fill. And again, she's not my favorite in Scream 5. But when I'm talking about, like, for me personally, a whole 360, I thought she was great in Scream
Uh-huh.
6. And no, I do not want to talk about anything to do with Scream 7. They might as well go on and pack that shit up.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
It's tough,
I'm a
man.
it's crazy though looking back on like these rankings because Scream 6 is the only horror movie that made my top 10
Okay.
kind of. We'll talk about that. But
Kind of. Okay.
and then but like looking back at last year, I had like 6 horror movies
Right.
in my
Bro.
top 10.
When I did my top 10 of 2022 revised, I still hadn't seen Pearl and X. And like after watching those movies, bro, that's like in my top 5. Like,
Are you ready for Maxine? I know you are. I saw your
oh
TikTok.
my God. I mean, Mia Goth is just unreal.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for that for many reasons, but I'm a big 80s guy, and the fact that
Yes.
it's based in the 80s, like she is gonna kill it. Like I'm so
Not to
excited for that.
mention, Ty West said that it's going to pay a lot of homage to the Italian giallo
Yes.
genre of horror as well,
Yep.
which I love those movies. So I'm just like, there's so many reasons to be excited for it.
Yep.
All right, number 7, I have Godzilla -1.
Okay.
So this honestly, I would say this might be like a top 2 biggest surprise of 2023.
By far.
Yeah, Japanese movie, and I just want to point this out too. So the budget for this movie has it listed at 15 million, and the director said it probably wasn't even that, so it might have been
Yeah.
more around 10 million. And it just looks amazing. Looks better than most of the 100 to 200 million dollar budget movies
yeah.
that we get from Hollywood. And it just shows you, where they're putting their money into the right place. I think a lot of people were saying like this Godzilla really went back to the basics of the Godzilla movies that we got, back in the earlier days.
Are you a Godzilla fan?
So I'm not like a huge like the new ones that we've been getting like the past decade. I haven't seen those, but I did grow up watching a decent amount of Godzilla movies. Specifically one that we watched a lot actually was it's like Godzilla 2000 that came out in like 1999.
Yes.
So it was funny because like I never really saw myself as a Godzilla fan, but looking back when I was a kid, I was like, dang, we did actually watch a decent amount of Godzilla movies. So but not to mention, I think, a lot of people would say that the new Godzilla movies, a lot of the attention was on, the monsters in the movies. But this one really focused on the characters. Like, you don't really see Godzilla too much, but beautiful story. Characters were great. And one thing that I really liked too was the atomic breath that he had in this movie. It was badass.
It was badass.
So Great surprise. Great surprise.
It was the number one surprise for me on my list by far,
Mhm.
because I'm not a big Godzilla person. But now watching this movie, I'm excited for Godzilla Kong that's get ready to come out. Like I'm probably gonna go see that now because of this. And
Mhm.
I've never been into that world. And
Right.
but seeing a movie like this
Yeah.
it's gonna make me go. Will I like it?
Absolutely.
That just all depends. But yeah, I thought it was phenomenal, and I can't top anything that you said because it is number 7 on my list as well. Um,
Okay.
it's just such a great story, and I love the fact that it just shows you if you have great acting, great character development, and great
Yep.
storytelling, you can make a great movie.
Mhm.
And they did with this to make a Godzilla movie in the main. Well, I don't want to say main focus, but the focus 100% not to be on Godzilla. Like they did
Yeah.
a phenomenal job with this. So,
Yeah. And not to
uh,
mention
yeah.
the music was great too, sticking with that OG theme.
Oh yeah,
It was just it was paid a
it
lot
was
of
a film.
respect to the past Godzillas for sure.
Yep.
All right, good choice. Going to number 6.
Number 6, man, almost at top 5.
Ooh. All
Oh,
right.
and I just wanted to state everything from 7 on,
Yeah.
like 7 until we end, is just downright phenomenal for me.
Yeah.
So from Scream 6 to Godzilla, like I think is a big jump in my
Yeah.
eyes.
Okay. Uh Number 6, I have it's almost cracked my top 5, but I have The Holdovers.
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it? Okay. So, Paul Giamatti, amazing. He's been an amazing actor for years. Great performance. Divine Joy Randolph, which she's been sweeping so far at the award shows, and I'm still predicting her to win Best Supporting Actress at the
Mhm.
Oscars because she was amazing. Oh man, what's his name? Dominic. Hang on, let me pull it up real quick because I want to get this right. Dominic Caesar. So that was
Mhm.
actually his very first acting gig, and they hired him because he went to the school that they were filming at, and he did an amazing job. And what I loved about this movie, so it takes place during the 70s. So it was just shot beautifully, and the grade and the film that they put on in post production looked great. I feel like I'm always kind of a sucker for period pieces,
Me too.
whether it be the
I'm the
70s,
same way.
80s.
Same way.
Yeah, just a sucker for it.
Yeah.
But I really loved that this movie offered very relatable and real characters. You really connected with these characters. This movie had me, emotional. This movie had me laughing. So kind of hit all the right stuff for me and what I look in a movie. No, it's not going to be your most like entertaining movie, I guess you could say, but like you said with Godzilla minus one, you give us great characters, you give us great storytelling, and not to mention great acting. You're gonna find yourself a good movie.
Yeah. 100%. I'll have to check that out, man. Super excited for that. Great, very great side story too about how that actor was hired just because he
Yeah,
worked at the school. Like that.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know. You
No,
never know.
I know. I need to find that position, right?
Yeah, no, seriously. Can I just stand here and like hopefully
Yeah.
somebody comes films in this area? Like
Uh-huh.
I'll be good. A movie that I totally thought was gonna crack my top 5, but did not. And it is Barbie coming in at
Okay.
number 6 for me.
You thought I was gonna
Um
crack top 5?
just until a couple weeks ago
Okay.
it was 3rd or 4th.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
wow. Oh, so there's a few
So
movies that kind of
there's a
snuck in there.
yeah, there were. So there were 2 movies that snuck in there.
Okay.
But yeah, I gotta go with Barbie, man. I remember one, it had been I think the last movie I'd been to where I thought it was a show
Mhm.
was the last live action Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
Um I thought, I mean, that I'll never forget that moment seeing that movie, just the crowd reaction. Like I love stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I remember we went opening night actually. And I remember walking into the theater and seeing all the damn pink everywhere. Like
Yeah.
literally just pink everywhere. Um and I remember when probably the first 10 minutes I'm like, is this like what the hell is this? Like
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. I'll be honest. I just in here talking to myself. I'm like, I, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, this ain't a good sign. And I don't know why I felt that way because I've watched it since, and I'm like, I had no problem with it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, I love this movie so much. I thought the acting in it was really good. Margot Robbie was phenomenal. The it was a beautifully shot movie in general. I thought the dialogue was great. Corny good, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
everything worked for me in this movie.
Okay.
And honestly, I didn't have a lot of hype for this movie until like I was interested in seeing it, but you actually kind of made me hype for this movie. I know we had talked about it a little bit, and then seeing I think your TikTok or your Instagram reel that you uploaded about waking up in the morning, and I'm like,
Yes, yes, yes.
oh, here we go. Like I'm hype. Blake's got me into it, and I remember looking at my fiance. I was like, we got to go see Barbie tonight, and she's like,
Oh man,
okay.
I was proud of that video, but it didn't do too well the views. But I was like, you know
I,
what?
I
I'm
don't
proud
know
of it.
why. I don't know why that was good. That was a good ass video, dude. But
You know,
yeah, this movie for me worked in every way that I didn't think it would.
Ryan Gosling was hilarious.
Oh,
I
come
think
on,
we need
yes.
to take a look at Ryan Gosling's comedic ability. I know now he's starting to get more comedic roles. I know there's The Nice Guys, and he's going to be in that
Yep.
movie Fall Guy coming out. But oh my god, his comedic timing in this movie was just perfect.
Yeah.
And especially was it that one apparently this was improv when he did that one line when it was towards the end and Barbie was like, oh, how she was ready to be his longtime distance boyfriend or whatever girlfriend. And he was like, could you excuse me for a second? And he walks back there and he just yells,
Oh yeah.
Sublime.
Yeah.
uh
Dude, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He was phenomenal. And
he was.
I think outside of Scream 6, it's the only movie that I saw twice in theater.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly, even though like there's probably some things that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and like I'm not really too big of a fan of America Ferrera's monologue in there as well. But what I can appreciate too about Barbie is just what it did for movie theaters. Like
Yes.
honestly, Barbenheimer was the most excited I've been to go to the movie theaters since Avengers Endgame. And I love that it was, two solo movies, yeah,
Yep.
Barbie's IP, but like these had nothing to do with other movies, Oppenheimer, Barbie. I don't know how, like, couldn't be two
Yeah.
total opposite movies, and it just created
And
this
both did great.
fandom. Oh, both did amazing. And I was
Oh,
just so happy to see people back in theaters for those kind of movies.
oh, 100%. And I wish I was in the position to do I know I had a couple of friends that did the Boppenheimer double event. Like they would
Uh-huh.
go see one and then right afterwards go see the other, which is great. That's a
Yeah,
long day. Long day
that's a
in the
long
theater.
day. And what with
But
the
I would have
Regal
done it.
Pass.
I would have done it though.
Right. Because with the Regal Pass too, you can only see one movie per day.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I saw Oppenheimer opening night, and then the next morning I got up and saw Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's one of the things for me too is what this movie did for theaters because like I
Yeah.
said, one of the first things that I will always remember from this movie is walking into the theater in 2023 and seeing a packed theater and
Mhm.
seeing the concession area with 5 lines open instead
Yeah.
of one. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like it
just
was
jumping out the gym.
yes, like and all the pink, like I said, it was just a movement, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the movie was good, so it worked in every single way. So didn't make my top 5 like I thought it would, but Barbie comes in at number 6 for
All
me.
right. It was a funny ass movie.
It was, it was.
All right, here we go. Cracking top 5.
Here we go,
Ooh.
man.
All right. So at number 5, I have The Iron Claw. Top 5, top 5.
Top
Man,
5, top 5.
oh my god. The Iron Claw.
If you could
This
do it without crying,
dude, this movie had me destroyed. So going into the movie, I didn't really know much. I knew it was a true story, but I didn't know much about the family, like the wrestling family. Um, and you kind of go into this movie thinking it's gonna just be a good bro time. especially if you don't know about the family. And like this movie just got more and more tragic and just tore you down. Like, man, I was doing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I was holding it together, and the last 10 minutes, like, I'm assuming you saw. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
The
Okay.
last 10 minutes for me too. I was doing
Yeah.
so good too. Like there was one moment where I teared up a little bit, but those last 10 minutes,
Oh my god.
dude.
When
Oh
Zac
man.
Efron, when he said that line, that's when I lost it, and I had to put my hood like over because my brother was. Not to mention, I went to go to see the movie with my brother, and like we grew up in a sports household, so like it kind of just hit all the spots.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I like had to like put my. I was wearing a hoodie. I had to put my hood over my eyes so he wouldn't like look over and see. And we left the theater, and I'm not saying a word, man. And he like gets ahead of me, pulls down my hood. He's like, "Oh, you were balling," because my eyes were just red, just
Yeah.
bloodshot. But man, I wish Zac Efron could get just a nomination. Like, I don't need him to win, but just a nomination to get that recognition. Like, because he didn't get one for a Golden Globe, he didn't get one for a SAG, so it's most likely that we're not going to see him get a nomination for an Oscar. But I think that movie definitely deserves some recognition. I'm glad to
Yeah.
see it get the attention it deserves on Letterboxd. Jeremy Allen White, who is just also a fantastic actor, big fan of the show The Bear. So he has just been killing it lately. And also Harris Dickinson was phenomenal as well.
Oh yeah.
So man, if you want a movie that's just gonna emotionally scar you, yeah, it's this movie, but damn it,
Yeah.
it is good.
It is amazing. And I'm with you. I didn't hear a lot about this movie, to be honest. I heard a little rumblings about it. And then Letterbox for me is kind of where
Mhm.
everything took off. I started to see the 4.5 stars, the
Yep.
5 stars, and I'm like,
Yep.
what is this? And
Yeah.
I'm like you, I didn't know the story behind it. I went in pretty blind. I knew a
Mhm.
little bit about it, but I didn't watch any trailers for it.
Okay.
Which I love doing. It's very rare that I'm able to do that,
Uh-huh.
just because I'm very impatient.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch any trailers. I went into it blind, and I think I have not seen every single Zac Efron movie. But to me, from what
No,
I've
me neither.
seen, this is absolutely his movie, his defining moment for
Yes.
me in his career. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm a big High School Musical fan. I ain't gonna lie. I watched that movie. It was good, but that was when he was a teenager. This
Uh-huh.
movie, to show his range in his acting, was
Mhm.
absolutely phenomenal. He along just the entire it was so well casted.
Yep.
And it got me when I watch these true stories. I end up going back and like watching YouTube videos of like the real story, and I've learned a lot since then. And it's just crazy because you're like, there's no way that this stuff is based on true stuff, because it
Right.
just like thing after like terrible thing
Yeah.
after terrible thing after terrible thing, and it's like there's no fucking way, and it's like, yes there is. Like I'm just
And
like,
and
man, they
what's
went through
crazy?
hell.
What's crazy? They even left out a brother apparently, so it could have been
Yeah,
even been more tragic,
they did.
which is
And
crazy.
yeah, I don't imagine if they started the movie off pretty much with that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean, that
Yeah.
would have, but yeah, it was such good storytelling, great acting.
Mhm.
It was a very good true story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
great
think there's
pick.
always that one movie that, defines the actor's career, and this is definitely that for Zac Efron.
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%.
All right,
Um,
number 5 for you.
Coming in at number 5 for me is a movie I just saw last night, Society of the Snow.
Okay.
Um, you haven't seen it, have you?
I have not. I almost watched it this week, but I had to go watch another one in theaters just because I know that one
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be in theaters much longer.
It's not a short movie. It's like a 2.5 hour
Oh,
movie.
wow, okay.
Yeah. But it's very good. It is about, if you don't know about it, it's about a plane crash in 1972.
Mhm.
A rugby team crashed in the Andes, or how do you say it? And Andes. I'm not
Yeah,
good
I
with
think yeah, you're
pronouncing
right.
words.
Yeah, the
Is it
Andes.
Andes? The
Yeah,
Andes?
yeah.
Okay. Just want
Mhm.
to make sure I say that right.
Yeah.
They crashed in the Andes. People died immediately on impact. I'm not going to ruin too much of the story because do you know about the story at all?
I do not actually. I do
Okay,
know
so
this story has been told before in a movie, but I've heard this one was a better telling of it.
so obviously with a plane crash, people are gonna die.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say anything else as far as spoilers because I want Blake to see it. And this is a movie that actually came out last year, but just now released in on Netflix in
Hmm.
2024 because it was
Yep.
going around in select theaters last year. So
Yeah.
I did, being that it is a 2023 movie, I did include it um with this list. So
It's a
um
Spanish film too, right?
it is
Yeah.
for the Netflix movie though, they translate it.
Okay.
Now the moving of the lips sometimes doesn't match up, but for the most part they do a great job with it. And
Okay.
the voice actors in it are pretty good. Everything's very believable. So it's not going to bother you. I mean, I did perfectly fine with it. It's a very gut-wrenching, sad story.
Hmm.
Um and that's kind of all I'm going to leave it at. I'm not going to give anything else away. It is the fact that they lasted 70 plus days
Wow. 70 plus days?
is phenomenal. And that's all
Damn.
I'm going to say. But you do
70
get
plus days from the poster that I saw, that seems pretty impossible too.
yeah. And there's a lot of like I said, once I watch these true stories, I go back and watch these videos. So
Yeah.
I was up to like 1:30 or something the other night or last night or whatever it was, watching these videos of like the true stories behind it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I don't want to ruin anything for you. But it's crazy because pretty much everybody that I follow on Letterboxd, there's not a score under 4.5 or under 4 for me.
And
So
there's just something
it's
about when you have a true story that's told really well, and like that kind of even makes it more gut wrenching. Even just what we were talking about with the Iron Claw, the fact that it was a true story is just like kind of makes it hit even harder.
yeah, and it's pretty much all in one setting, in one space, so
Yeah.
you connect with the characters, very well. You get attached to some of the characters, and it's just, it's an unbelievably scary situation and story that
Hmm.
I think you're really, really gonna like. So I'm really looking forward to your letterbox score on that.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna give that a watch within the next week, probably.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that comes in at number 5 for me.
All
And I
right.
will go ahead and give my number 4 right off the bat, and I'll let you go back to back
Okay.
because my number 4 is the Iron Claw. We've already
Okay.
talked about
Okay.
it. All I want to say on that is I was bawling my absolute fucking
Yeah.
eyes out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So we talked about that just a second ago.
Mhm.
But that comes in at number 4 for me,
I like it. I'm really happy to see that it's cracking people's top five for 2023.
and deservingly so.
Yes. All right. Number 4 for me is going to be John Wick 4. John Wick. The fact that these movies just got better is kind of crazy just because, like, when you get a franchise and you're 4 movies deep, usually not the case. But in my opinion, each movie did get better. And oh man, the stunts on this were just on another
Oh, dude.
level. The fight choreography, like it really was just on another level. Like I had never seen anything like that. Um, I mean, even that opening scene, like the opening scene was so badass, and the sound mixing in it was
Yeah,
great too. When
it
he's
was.
just sitting there punching that bag, and you have Lawrence Fishburne just giving that great monologue, echoing off the walls.
Oh,
I'm like,
dude,
oh,
dude. Yeah,
amazing opening scene.
amazing opening scene, and I'm with you. This was my most anticipated movie of the
Okay.
year for me because I was late to the John Wick films.
Okay.
I binge watched them. I was sick last year or the year. It might have been the year before or
Uh-huh.
very early last year, and I binge watched all these John Wick movies because everybody kept talking about them. So I was very
Yeah.
late on the scene, and I just Keanu Reeves, man, what a fucking badass
Yeah.
Mr. John Wick. I was like, this is right up my alley. The fight scenes in every movie are phenomenal, but it goes to a different level in John Wick 4. So, like,
It really
dude,
is.
yes,
Like,
it's
and the
it's so
camera
good.
work too, like the panning view from the top of the dragon
Yes,
breath. Oh my god. And Donnie Yen as Kane. It was just also the lighting. Lighting was beautiful.
yeah, it was
So
perfectly shot. Mr. Bill Skarsgård,
yeah.
shout out to him. I mean, again, another movie that's just very well acted.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect anything less. This was my most anticipated movie going into the year, and the fact that it did crack the top 5 didn't disappoint for me.
Yeah.
Because it is at your number 4.
Yes.
It is at my number 3.
At your number 3.
At my number 3.
Alrighty. Because what number 4 for you was, I forget what was it, the Society
Iron
of the Snow,
Claw.
right? Or the Iron Claw. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. All right. So yeah, your number 3 was John Wick. Good. Yeah, no, I'm seeing people also, because the most popular rating that it has on Letterboxd is 4 stars. But most of the people that I follow, like the list that I'm seeing, it is cracking their top 5s, which I'm happy to see.
Oh yeah, same.
Would love to see the Oscars get a category for stunt performances. I know the SAG Awards have it now, which is great
They
to
do.
see.
Yeah.
Because
I'm just glad they're getting recognition. Like,
yeah,
something that should have been done a long time ago.
yeah, like that is hard to do, man. Very hard to
Yeah.
do.
Shout out to Mr. Reeves for doing his own stunts.
Yeah, that too. But what a badass movie that was. Oh my god. All right, we going to my number 3 then?
Yeah.
All right. So my number 3 was Killers of the Flower Moon.
Number 2 on my list that I have not seen.
Really?
Yes.
So yeah, it was another, great Scorsese picture that we got. I know some people may like have their issues here and there with it, with maybe like the storytelling and the Osage people, but I thought it was a great movie. At the end of the day too, it's Scorsese, so it's like it's also a crime thriller, and it really kind of brought me back to his movies like Goodfellas. Leo always gives a great performance in any movie he's in. But Lily Gladstone was absolutely amazing in it. Happy to see her win at the Golden Globes. Her and Emma Stone will definitely be the top 2 choices when it comes to the Oscars. And when you share the scene with Leo a lot, but you're able to capture the scene and not be in the shadows of Leo's presence in the scene, then you really know that you've given a great performance, and she absolutely does that. Again, a movie that the cinematography was beautiful. Robert De Niro, damn man, he is old, but he's still giving great performances out there.
Oh, I gotta see this movie, man.
And I was a fan of the score too as well. It had that old Western kind of guitar to the musical score, which I also love a good Western, even though I wouldn't say it's a Western, but it still has those Western feels to it. And man, it's a long movie. I will say, be prepared, but it's definitely another tragic movie, but like a necessary story to be told, and yeah, it's beautifully told. I thought it was a great movie.
Can't wait to check it out, dude. Yeah, that's number 2 on my list of what I have not seen yet. So I can't wait to check that out, because again, another movie I kind of knew about, but I did start to see pop up a lot on Letterboxd,
Right.
and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So we're down to our top 2 movies.
We are.
I know for a fact they are the same movies. I just don't know if they're in the same order. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with our number 1 movie.
Okay, we're gonna start with number 1.
We're gonna go 1, 2, 3 and say it at the same time to see if it's the same movie.
Okay, so we're gonna say our number 1 movie at the same time.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 movie.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Spider.
Oppenheimer.
Oh man, they're opposite. They're opposite.
All right, who wants to go first?
I will let you go first. Guest always first.
Okay.
And you can honestly talk about both movies if you want to, and this can just be an open conversation with both films.
You know what? Honestly, I'll start off with Oppenheimer, just because that has been my number 1 movie of the year ever since I saw it. I could talk about this movie for 24 hours. Absolutely fucking masterpiece. This is like one of the best movie scores that I've ever heard. Ludwig just absolutely went too hard with it. Like, I've just never had that a musical score just like lift me off my seat like that. I would say, Interstellar is another one, but like,
Phenomenal.
Oh my God. I've seen it 3 times now. I've seen it twice in IMAX. The third time I did watch it at home. It definitely isn't the same as seeing it in IMAX, you know. You just get spoiled seeing it in
Of
IMAX.
course. Yeah.
I think it is gonna pop up back in theaters here soon, maybe since the Oscars are coming around. So I'm definitely gonna go see it again in IMAX. Killian Murphy, so happy, you know, he's sweeping the award shows.
He is. I mean, his performance was just amazing. And one of the things that like I loved about his performance is like I felt everything that he
Uh-huh.
felt during that
Mhm.
movie. Like it
Mhm.
couldn't have been casted better for that role.
No,
Like
no,
Oppenheimer could have not been played by anybody else but Murphy.
no.
Like j- it's one of the best performances I've seen in a long time because again, the stuff that I connect with is when I can feel like I'm in the movie and I can connect with those
Yeah.
people. And like
Yeah.
Murphy's character, like Oppenheimer, like I just phenomenal, dude. Like I'm at a loss for words right now because I just you connect with him and you feel what he's going through in a sense of he's just a scientist in this, right?
Yeah.
Like he
Mhm.
and then you can see in his eyes, he's like, what did I create?
Yeah, uh-huh. And yeah, it's a great just what you said, like you feel like you're seeing it from his point of view, which was really Christopher Nolan's goal with this, you know, even writing the script for it in first person, which is the first time that a lot of the cast had ever seen a script written in
Hmm.
first person. Um and you know them with mainly shooting it with the IMAX camera, like that was the most that Nolan had shot with an IMAX camera, and the most, you know, they don't usually shoot those close-ups
Yeah,
on those faces in IMAX camera, but they did for this movie, and it just really you know made you feel what those characters were going through. Another
yeah,
where the cinematography was just absolutely
phenomenal.
gorgeous, and
I,
like
I was gonna
we-
say not everybody can do it,
no.
shoot on IMAX cameras, but I think in Hollywood right now, obviously Christopher Nolan, in my opinion, is what he did with Oppenheimer is he's one of them. And although I've not been the biggest fan of every single movie, I can say that Jordan Peele is another one.
Okay.
What he did with Nope,
Mhm.
like as far as visual effects and shooting in IMAX, like it's one of the first things I say when I talk about Nope is probably one of the most beautiful shot movies at night in those night
Yes.
scenes on that 4K
Yes.
camera. So
Agreed.
I love the fact that you brought up this movie and shooting in 4K with the close-ups because it takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and, man, I'm happy to see, like, a lot of us have known that Christopher Nolan is an amazing director, one of the greatest
Oh
of all
yeah.
time, but it's just he doesn't have an award to his name. He doesn't have an Oscar to his name. That Golden Globe he won the other night was the first time that he's won that award, and it's
Yeah.
just like, wow, what why hasn't this man been getting his flowers?
No, I agree. The and not only not only Murphy, but the supporting cast in general was phenomenal as well.
Mhm.
Like, although I feel like we didn't get a whole bunch of screen time with Robert Downey Jr. when he was on screen. Like, it
Yeah,
just felt like he like woke up and was like, "Yeah, I'll come in and make a paycheck." But like,
yeah.
it just hit on all levels, and obviously Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, like it just again well one of those movies that are stacked with cast,
Mhm.
well-known names, and it just delivered on all levels, which usually
100%.
when you get stacked cast like that, it's very tricky, you
I was
know?
about to say, you know, it's hard to make that work because we've seen it before where a cast that stacked, you know, it doesn't turn out that great. But there's only a few people, directors in Hollywood that can make that happen. And
Yes.
Christopher Nolan's one of them because people know when they walk on that set, you know, Christopher Nolan is the guy. You know, not the actors. You know, the actors were taking a pay cut to be able to make this movie. The fact that you know a 3 hour movie about the atomic bomb was as you know thrilling and
Yeah.
breathtaking as it was, and you know on a budget of $100 million, you know, making $1 billion at the box office. Why, you know, if you can go ahead and make this movie for $100 million, and you know, why are we making an Indiana Jones 5 movie for $300 million?
100%. 100%.
That's honestly one of the best movies I've seen ever. I know some people are
So
like not a
I
fan of like the runtime and everything, but it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
No, I agree with that. For me personally, I will say I don't know how well the rewatchability will be for me. I haven't
Mhm.
rewatched it yet, but we'll see. I'm gonna do it.
You'll
I'm
see,
gonna
because
do it.
honestly, when I saw that second time in IMAX theaters, I loved it even more.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Um, so I guess I shouldn't even ask. Do you like Oppenheimer or Dark Knight better? I guess you're gonna go with Oppenheimer.
Dude, I'm gonna go Oppenheimer now. Like,
Yeah,
Dark
that's
Knight has
that's
always
fair.
held a special place, but like, there's been few movies like this movie came out in July, and I still think about it almost every day. I'm listening to this score almost every day of my life. Like,
There
there's
you
been
go.
few movies that have been able to do that for me. Oh my god.
Oh, rightfully so. I honestly thought Spider Verse was gonna be your number one.
Number one. Well, yeah, that is
Yeah,
my number two, though.
it is. Yeah. And I go back and forth with this one and the first one, which one I like more. Um, like, and I don't know because I think each have compelling points.
Uh-huh.
I think for me, like, I would have to go the first film just because of one. I don't know if I know I did not go into that movie expecting to love it as much as I did,
Right.
or to walk out of it just amazed by how great it
Yep.
was. Um, so I think I would lean towards that. But Across the Spider Verse, I mean, with the expectations from the first film, lived
Mhm.
up to it, and if not exceeded the expectations that I
Yep.
had. It was shot beautifully. The pace of the movie I felt like was fast, and the jokes were coming, but everything hit in a great way. Like
Mhm.
I felt myself like laughing or feeling one emotion, and then 5 seconds later feeling another emotion. Like it just the pace of it might have been fast, but it worked. And I think anytime that can happen, it is really good. I think the rewatchability for this movie is phenomenal. I've seen it like 6 times.
Dang.
Yeah, I love this.
Okay.
I love this movie, dude. It's by far the one I've rewatched the most
Yeah.
from what has come out this year. So, um, and I felt like a kid watching this. Well, both films. Like I feel like I can speak to both films, and it both of them have the same points that I'm going to make with
Yeah.
this film. But I felt like a kid again. One of the things that I love, I've not been like the biggest animation fan or
Okay.
I'm not a big comic book fan like a lot of people are, but for me personally, like I said, I felt like it made me feel like a kid again, and also the character development for this, I felt so attached to the characters in this film, and I love the fact that it touches on real life situations, real family situations. Like, it was just such a beautiful film for me personally that it came in at number one. And Oppenheimer was close, but this one was just, I don't know, man. It did something for me. It did something for me.
I feel that. Yeah, music once again was absolutely phenomenal. I do like Into the Spider-Verse still a little better. Just I mean, I absolutely love that movie. That's still one of my favorite movies of all time. I think, the rewatchability factor on Into the Spider-Verse is through the roof.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but again, same composer, music was great, animation was phenomenal. And all like the different styles
Yeah,
that they used for each world.
stunning.
Yeah. And Shamik Moore as Miles Morales, like Miles Morales has become honestly one of the most like relatable superhero characters
Oh
that
yeah.
we have gotten in the last decade. And I feel like a lot of the younger generation has just been able to connect with Miles Morales.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I feel like I connect with him,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. I know that's
Right.
young in a lot of people's eyes, but I feel old. My back
Not
hurts right now sitting in this chair. But no,
I
I
mean,
agree with you, and I want to meet him really bad. I was kind of disappointed because he was at the same convention that Christopher Lloyd was at,
mhm,
and I was like, if we have time, I want to meet him, but he was late too, so I had to pick, and obviously I'm going to pick Christopher Lloyd in that situation. But
mhm.
man, I hope he shows back up at a convention because I got some stuff to sign for him, and I want to meet him.
Yeah, no, and like the voice acting in both movies are phenomenal. Um,
Yes.
but also like with the him being relatable, like even just his taste in music, like just like those little things there too, that I feel like this character has just been so relatable to this generation. Um, and man, what else about that movie? Oh, I know you because kind of pointing out, like you said, how you felt like it was paced kind of fast, but then I did really
Yeah,
appreciate the scenes that kind of slowed down a bit, like
there were. Yep,
the canon event scene,
yep.
which was great. And that whole musical score behind that scene was beautiful. So
It
no, it
just it knew exactly what to do.
right. The expectations for this were through the roof, so it could have very easily, not have met those expectations, but it did. Not only did it, but you could easily say that it surpassed those expectations. And once we get
Yep,
beyond the Spider-Verse, who knows what that'll be. But
that's true. Yeah,
once we get it, I think you're looking not only at one of the greatest superhero comic book trilogies of all time, but one of the greatest trilogies period of all time.
oh, 100%. I'm so excited for Beyond to come out. I don't know, man. I love these two movies so much. I got them on 4K.
Nice.
I'm ready for this. I want to get them both on 4K Steelbook. That would be
Yeah.
great. I'm a physical media collector. I don't know if you
Hey,
can notice
hey,
that, but
we've been
um,
me and Garrett have been starting because we haven't been in the past, but like, they're taking physical
yeah,
media out of these stores now, and
Best Buy doesn't have it
yep.
now.
So
I'm like,
we've been
come
we've
on.
been we've been stocking up on physical media lately, copping
Just
those
cause
4K.
just cause, like, you just never know. I mean,
Right.
streaming's not going on anywhere, but, like, if I wanna watch a movie, at least I know I can go down there and watch it and
Yes.
not like, "Oh, it's not on Netflix or Max
Right.
or any." It's I can watch it whenever the hell I wanna watch it, so
Yeah, because like Nolan said too, when their movies go to streaming services, they don't have like 100% control on,
true.
with how it looks and how it sounds. So at least when you get a physical
Yeah.
media,
You can
you're
Yep,
getting
and
what the director wants.
you can buy the 4K version, so you know
Yeah.
you're getting what the director wants, and you know if you buy the 4K version, you're getting 4K quality, which is the
Yep.
best out there that you can get, so
Yeah.
makes sense. We did it, dude. We made it through the list.
Oh man. All right, I got a few questions for you though.
Oh, man. Okay.
All right, so do we have any big disappointments for 2023?
Um, as far as disappointments, yes, I would, and it's two horror movies, actually, like three. I was not a big fan of Evil Dead Rise.
Okay.
I don't know if you were, but that was very disappointing in my eyes. Like
I
I
feel like
gave
that
it.
might be a hot take because I feel like a lot of people like that one.
Oh, a lot of people love that movie. I gave it a 2 star on Letterbox.
Ooh, yeah, I would say
Yeah,
that's a hot take.
I just remember seeing the trailer for this movie, and it was just out of my world. I was like, "This is by far going to be better than Scream 6. This is going to be
Uh-huh.
the horror movie of the year," and I was just disappointed.
All right.
Five Nights at Freddy, I was disappointed in. And then also Infinity Pool. I think
Okay.
I know it's a unique movie. It just did not work for me. I thought Mia Goth in general was phenomenal in the movie, but
Mhm.
the story didn't work for me. I was not attached to really any of the characters. Um, but yeah, I would say those three, because I was looking forward to all three of them, was the biggest disappointment. You want to know my worst ranked movie of the year?
Yes, I do.
The Exorcist Believer.
That's the worst.
As the worst, right next to Quantumanium.
Wow. Well, hey, good for your
Quantumania.
good news for you today. There's news that David Gordon Green will not be
I
directing the
saw
sequel.
that. I meant to
Yeah,
ask you about that. Like, how many movie I was wondering how many horror movies he could go through to where
dude.
he just knows it's just not for him.
And
I
honestly,
can
when I walked out of that theater, I was like, you know what? They're probably gonna move on from him as director because I'm like, how many franchise he gonna take over? Like he already did, all the new Halloween movies. Now he's doing Exorcist. Like, why don't we let
yeah.
someone else get in there?
And I remember walking out of the theater, my first thing that I thought of was like, there's no fucking way they can make two more movies.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. All right, what
Um,
about for you?
most disappointing. All right. So I think most disappointing for me, to be honest, might have been Maestro. Which when you look at the reviews, you wouldn't, it's kind of in line with like what everyone else has been thinking. But When I was first seeing reviews for this movie, I was seeing, 4 stars, 4.5 stars. Here we go again. Bradley Cooper just fully, diving
Yeah.
into a role and like method acting and another his second directorial movie. Um, and a biopic too, which as we've seen in 2023 had been pretty good. Uh, and it's just like the more I think about it, the more it pisses me off because I'm like, there was no true focal point of the movie, and it's a biopic, right? I feel like
Mhm.
I learned nothing about Leonard Bernstein, who he plays. Like,
Yeah.
when's the last time you saw a biopic and you felt like you learned nothing about who the movie's about?
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, and I mean, Carey Mulligan was great. But again, it was like, fundamentally, like it's a very beautiful movie. Like it's beautifully shot, um, great editing, but like at the end of the day, that's not really gonna cut it if I can't really connect at all with the character or can't really get down with
Oh
the
yeah,
story you're trying to tell.
100%.
And it's interesting too because I feel like it does miss the points because like one of the points too is it's like a telling of his struggles with like two lifestyles with being married but also being in the LGBTQ part of his life as well. But and it's weird because on Netflix when you click on the movie, like the thumbnail, the preview for it is him and another guy, which was like one of his boyfriends in the movie as well. But then you watch the movie and there's like they don't really focus that on all. There's like maybe
Mhm.
5 minutes of that. There's maybe like
Oh,
two
damn.
scenes of that. It's just like, okay, what are you trying to tell us? Like, what are you trying to tell us? And at the end of the day, I was pretty let down by that movie.
I get it, dude. Trust me.
Okay, worst movie. You want to hear my worst movie?
Oh, yeah. Please.
Okay. Worst movie for me was It's a Wonderful Knife.
Why does that sound so familiar?
Okay, so it's a horror movie, which was like the horror version of It's a Wonderful Life. Oh my god! So I went and saw
Oh,
this in
god.
theaters right before Thanksgiving. Um, where is it on my letterbox? I'm trying to pull it up, man, because like, oh, where is it? There it is. I gave it half a star, by the way.
I think I saw that.
I let me tell you this. So I was in the theaters. It was me, a couple, and one dude a few rows behind me. The one dude a few rows behind me started snoring for like 10 minutes
Oh
in the
my
middle of the
god.
movie. Kills were absolutely terrible. I thought this was going to be a pretty cool new slasher that we got with the mask and everything. But once you see the reveal of the whole outfit, looks ridiculous. Acting was terrible. And it had some good actors in there too. Joel McHale was in it. Justin Long, who was good in Barbarian.
Oh, yeah.
So like he was, having a good run for horror movies, and it was so it was so stupid. Like I don't even know what to say. Like it was just terrible. Just terrible movie. I couldn't buy it at all.
Damn, dude. I will know not to watch that.
What was it? One other movie that was terrible for me. I actually almost forgot about it because I watched it back in January was You People on Netflix with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy. It was just the comedy was just, you have two great comedy actors there, especially Eddie Murphy, a legend.
Yeah. I think I saw that too.
I don't know, just nothing hit. The jokes were terrible, comedy was terrible.
Oh,
Not to mention
I did see that.
it's labeled as a rom-com movie, right? And we don't see our two main characters kiss once in the movie, even though
I
it's a
know.
rom-com. So
Makes no sense. I just ranked it because I remember I did see it.
really,
Yeah,
I was not a fan.
1 star. No, it was bad. I remember that movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there any that okay, you said what were your top two that you hadn't seen? It was Poor Things and what was the other one?
Killer of the Flower Moon.
Killer of the Flower Moon. Okay. A few that I haven't seen yet, that I really need to is Past Lives.
Yep.
I haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall. Um, the one I watched this morning to see if it would crack my top 10 list was The Boy and the Heron,
Okay.
which
You,
is a Miyazaki movie, Studio Ghibli.
I think I
Uh,
saw. Did you rate it?
I did. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which a lot of people have been giving it 4.5. It has cracked people's top 10. And I mean, it's a trippy ass movie. Good characters, like good voice acting, good animation. It's just one of those stories where I couldn't really connect with, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
I get it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Let me think. 2023.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good old 2023.
Oh, did you see? Oh, that could be another disappointment too. Have you seen Wonka?
No, I didn't see it. My sister went and saw it. I was thinking about going to see it, but I was like, no.
It. A lot of people did enjoy it, which is fine. I'm glad like people are having fun with it, but I don't know. How do you feel about Timothy Chalamet as an actor?
He's okay.
Okay.
I think that's probably one of the main
Yeah.
reasons why I didn't want to go see it. So
because it's kind of crazy. Like you look at his catalog and he has a pretty stellar lineup of
He
movies,
does.
but like I can't get past it. Like I can't ever buy into Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, I get that. No, I totally understand that. I saw 25 movies this year and I was trying to figure it out. Let's see, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 movies. So what is that? I'm terrible at math. 25 minus 8.
Yeah, 17.
17. So 17 out of the 25 movies was 3 stars or higher for me, which isn't terrible. But it's like everything that I gave 3 stars or higher to that was not named was No One Will Save You, Knock at the Cabin, Cocaine Bear, Thanksgiving, Gran Turismo, Saltburn, and Megan.
No, you saw Saltburn?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
And it's interesting, but I liked it.
I liked it too. I liked it too. I gave it 4 stars, which I know is probably a hot take on
I gave it
Letterboxd
3.5.
and film Twitter. Yeah. No, I mean, you could definitely say that movie probably misses on like the theme of it. Like it doesn't deliver the theme as well as other movies.
That's fair.
For instance, like, with Eating the Rich, like Parasite, obviously that delivers it much better. But I kind of was able to like glaze over that because I thought the cast and the acting was amazing.
It was.
Also,
No, it really was.
I also loved how it was shot. So I don't know. I had an interesting time with it, and I don't know. After it was done, I was like, I liked it.
No, 100%. No, 100%. A lot of my Letterboxd people actually really enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy though because pretty much all of my Letterboxd friends ranked it. It's like one of those movies that were like I guess everybody was talking about and everybody was like, I have to watch this.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It started catching a lot of buzz on like film Twitter, and then everyone started watching
100%.
it.
No, I agree. All right, man. I think that's gonna wrap up the podcast. 100 an hour and 40 minutes in. We did not miss a beat. It was a great episode. Great way to celebrate 50 episodes of the Take One podcast, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your top 10 list with me and just talking, man. It's always good to have you on. It was good to have you back on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. It's always great doing these lists. Glad we're able to do 2023 top 10. I mean, I feel like it's been a great, few years of movies. I love 2022, love 2023. Yeah. Got some exciting ones for 2024.
Yep.
And honestly, 2025. So I think it's going to be a good decade.
It is. It is. We deserve it though. As movie lovers,
that's true.
We deserve it. So you got anything going on, man? Anything coming up?
Let's see. We got MegaCon. Trying to get a trip to California here in March to like kind of like a business trip thing too, to hop on some other people's podcasts.
There you go.
Yeah, just trying to trying to get, you know, some more viewership. We were supposed to do a press junket virtually for Rebel Moon.
Okay.
So we were gonna do something with Zack Snyder, but that fell through. But Netflix had reached out to us. So I mean, just that itself was exciting. And we
Hell
still
yeah, dude.
might, yeah, we still might do something for the Avatar Last Airbender live action show for when that comes out in February. So that's just cool having that contact in there as well. Rebel Moon was, did you see that one?
No.
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing. Like, it was supposed to be a Star Wars movie. Like, Zack Snyder was supposed to do a Star Wars movie, and then that fell through like a decade ago. So there was like, it was obviously gonna be a lot like Star Wars, but I don't know, it just didn't really work out.
That's fair. Well, it sounds like you got all kinds of great, exciting things coming up, man. You deserve it. Hard worker, man. Hardest
Appreciate
worker
it,
in the
man.
room. Hardest worker in the room.
I appreciate that. I'm trying. It's been, I mean, yeah, it's been really exciting. I've been able to focus more time on the channel now. Hopefully we'll have merch coming out this year. I actually just ordered like 8-9 t-shirts with a logo, just like little
Sick.
prototypes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We finally came up with a design after 2 years. But yeah, so we'll see how that works out, and then, you know, if that goes well, then hopefully we get some merch rolling this year too.
Hell yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that. You know, I'll purchase some. Gotta
Hell
support,
yeah.
man. Gotta
That's
support.
right, baby. You know, that's what
All
we
right, man.
do.
Where can everybody follow you at?
Man, you guys can follow Blake's Takes on TikTok. You will see us there every day. Follow us on Letterboxd. I'm gonna keep plugging Letterboxd because that has been my life over the last year now. So follow me on Letterboxd at Blake's Takes. Again, if you want to find a link with all of our, you know, channels, go ahead and click the link in our bio on TikTok. You can find our podcast there on Spotify, Apple, etc. YouTube. Trying to, you know, once Garrett graduates school, I'm gonna give him the responsibility of YouTube because it's hard to keep up with that as well. So
YouTube's a lot.
yeah, it is. So hopefully when he's done with school, we'll get YouTube kicking more. Instagram, Twitter, all the good. So follow us, man.
Yep. Make sure y'all give my man Blake a follow. Blake and Garrett, great stuff over on all their socials, all their channels. So appreciate everybody tuning in to episode 50 of the Take One podcast, and I will see you on the next one.